Hey everyone, this is Debbie from Debbie D Stamp Studio, and I am filming my first video today. As you know, I got my holiday pre-order, and one of the sets that I fell in love with was the Painted Harvest set, and I want to show you how easy it is to create really pretty flowers using this set. So this is the card that I want to show you. This is one of the first cards that I created. And we're using the Cajun Craze. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. A layer of Early Espresso at 5 1/4 by 4. A layer of Very Vanilla at 5 by 3 3/4. This is the piece that we're going to be stamping on. We're going to be using the crushed curry to stamp the sunflowers. And this is a two-step stamp. So for the first one, I like to ink it up really well and then stamp off for the first layer. So we're going to stamp on our placemat and then stamp on our card. And then ink it up again, stamp off, and stamp on our card. And they will overlap a little bit. And now for the more detailed part of the stamp, we will ink that up and then stamp directly onto the card. And for this, it doesn't matter if you really get it perfectly lined up. There's no right or wrong way to stamp this one. So then just stamp the second one straight on. And there are your sunflowers. Now for the centers, we're going to be using Early Espresso. I forgot to get that one out. And the little center. Put that on the block. And just ink that up and stamp that right in the center. Now the way this stamp is made, it automatically does the very center lighter, so you only have to stamp it once to get that nice effect. So, oh, I didn't line that one up very well, but there you go. It still looks fine. Okay, now for the sentiment, that's going to go right on the card. And to line that up, I like to use my grid paper. So I just line my block up right on the grid paper and then use those lines to make sure that my sentiment is straight on my block. Then we're going to use the Early Espresso again, ink that up, and stamp that right on the card. So there we go. Okay, now for our leaves, we're going to use the Garden Green. And for this one, I like to stamp the detail first and just on a little scrap of the Very Vanilla. Ink up your detail and stamp that. And I think this makes it a little bit easier to see where to stamp the background. So on this, we're going to ink it up and then we're going to stamp off, and then we're going to line up and stamp the inside. And for this one, we have the new leaf punch. So we're going to turn it over and line it up. Kind of hard to do while and punch that right out. So there we have it. And I already did the second one, so there's that. Close up my ink pad so I don't get my fingers in it. So there's that, and my linen thread. I'm going to wrap the linen thread around to get the creases out of your linen thread, just run it through your fingers a couple of times where it's been wrapped around. If you still have it on the card, just wrap it around a couple times. I might need a little more here to tie my bow. Scissors. Cut it off. And then we're going to tie a bow over on this side. And I like to wrap it around all the layers of the twine just to make sure that I catch it all. And then tie my bow. Oop. There we go. Okay. Okay, so then one other thing that I did on this card was added a little splatter effect. Now to get that, I used my Cajun Craze Stampin' Right marker, and I just used a paper clip, not a Stampin' Up product, but fun nonetheless. And I unbent it and then just used the curved part and then just flicked it to get the ink to splatter onto my card. Just gives it a nice little touch. And then you can just clean that off on your Stampin' Scrub. So there you have your little splatter marks. Okay, so now we're ready to assemble that before we add our leaves. So with your snail, I just go right over my twine to kind of help hold it into place. Add that to my early espresso layer. Oh, I smudged my splatters a little bit. You might want to make sure that's dry before you add it to, or turn it over to add your adhesive. Then add your early espresso layer. To your Cajun Craze layer. And then you're ready to add your leaves. Now, I did use the new mini dimensionals just on the top leaf of each one. Take those off. And then my Tombow multi-purpose glue on the stem. Oops. Just a tiny little bit on the stem. Don't recommend doing it on your card in case it squirts out a little more than what you wanted. And then just place them on your card. To add a little dimension. And we need to trim those little tails off of our twine. And fold your card, and using your bone folder, make a nice crease. And there you have it. And that is how easy the new Painted Harvest set is to create those beautiful sunflowers. So you can see all of the new products that I just received in my holiday pre-order when you attend my open house Sunday, August 27th from 1 to 3. you can also pick up your copy of the new holiday catalog. So thanks for joining me today for my very first video, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.